Record. So, okay. Right. Well, hello, everybody. I hope you can see me. If at any point you want to ask a question, please just either unmute yourselves or just pop a question in the chat. I will periodically have a look at the chat. And Michaela, if anything goes in there, Michaela or Glynis, if you wouldn't mind just drawing my attention to it if I'm full flow on something else. So I'll just do a very quick introduction to me, and I've also got some team members on here. And if I've missed anybody in my team, please do just shout and say hello. So I'm Lyndsay. My background is I'm a trained chef. I've worked with Thermomix now for about 2.5 years. I said no to a Thermomix for well over 4 or 5 years because I was one of these irritating people that said they can cook, so they don't really need a Thermomix in their lives. So I understand when I hear somebody say, oh, well, why do I need one of these Thermomixes? I can cook, I can do everything that Thermomix does. I totally get it. I've been there. And all I can say is I wish I'd made the decision a long time ago because my life would have become an awful lot easier. I still have all the fun of cooking. I absolutely love cooking, but using a Thermomix just makes it an awful lot more fun, an awful lot more quick, so I can actually get more done. So we've got some team members on the call. I'm just going to introduce them. Helen introduced herself, which is great. So Helen joined Thermomix just before Christmas. This is Helen's first demo. So I've asked her just to do showcase one recipe for us, just so that she gets a little bit of practice. And she's also invited some of her friends because I know she's been quite active on Facebook and people are saying, what is this Thermomix all about? So hopefully we're going to answer that question tonight. I've also got Michaela on the call, who was one of my first customers actually a couple of years ago. And Michaela, hello, and absolutely loves her Thermomix. She is a Thermomix guru, and now has joined the team as an advisor because she just loves sharing her passion for Thermomix alongside her day job as a very highly professional IT consultant. And then I've got Glynis as well, Glam Glyn, who took a starring role in one of our cookery classes a couple of weekends ago. Again, Glynis is fairly new to Thermomix, but she's embraced it. She's loving it, having a lot of fun with it. And Glynis I love it. Yay! Glynis was one of these people that said they couldn't cook. So they weren't really interested in Thermomix because they thought Thermomix was just for professional chefs. So completely the other end of the spectrum to me. But I think it's safe to say, Glynis, you're absolutely loving it, aren't you?
I really do. And I, exactly that. Unlike you, I don't cook, can't cook, don't like cooking. I think today is my 2-month anniversary of having Theodore, my Thermomix. And I've used him every single day. I absolutely love it. I'm so cross with myself for not buying one sooner, but everybody says that.
I know.
But it's just
and I
amazing.
Think you beat me, didn't you? It was about 9 years ago you saw the Thermomix.
I saw it 9 years ago, yes.
Yeah, so don't leave it 9 years, those that are on here. You have been warned. Right, well, thank you. And then we've got Alicia as well, who is one of our Polish advisors. Alicia, I don't know if you are actually on camera, but if you just want to say hello, then you can. And yeah, it's always really nice to see customers on this call, potential customers, obviously fellow advisors, learning. That is one of the best things about being part of Thermomix is the community that you join. We have a really active and engaged Facebook group, which is really beneficial for customers. We share lots of recipes on there and advice, and I've got customers posting a lot of the recipes they've tried to inspire other customers. So it's a really lovely community to be a part of. And that, again, is one of the big benefits of joining Thermomix. You join this community. Lots of my customers have now become really good friends. Michaela and I have, and Glynis and I, as fellow advisors, we have developed a friendship that we didn't have before Thermomix. So it's a really positive environment to live and work in. Right, so I've got quite an ambitious menu tonight. I've always got an ambitious menu. I like to change what I do every time, just to keep it a little bit more interesting and also to offer new experiences to my customers. So tonight we're going to do a garlic tear and share bread with a little bit of a twist. breakfast, I'm going to do some chorizo meatballs with potatoes and a smoky tomato sauce. I'm going to do a coffee cake, a blueberry coffee cake, which I've never done before. But again, that's one of the beauties of Thermomix, because it just ensures that you don't have to know what you're cooking. As long as you follow the recipe on the screen, you are guaranteed a restaurant quality result. So you don't need to worry. If you've never done something before, it's like having a sous chef just walking you step by step through the recipes. I'm going to get cooking now, but as we move along, what I'm going to do is show you my screen so you can see exactly what I'm looking at, because you won't be able to see that from where you are at the moment. So you can see the way the recipe looks on the screen and how easy it is to follow. But what I want to do first of all is I'm just going to get on with this garlic bread. I'm going to make the butter first of all, and the reason for that, I'm going to pick it up halfway through a recipe, is because I want to make the dough afterwards to ensure that I clean the bowl out of all the garlic, so I can just make my coffee cake straight away afterwards. I'm being really lazy, and I am going to minimize my washing up. So that's, again, another benefit to the Thermomix. You can minimize your washing up, and if you work really smartly and you order your food logically, you do even less washing up. So that's absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to make my garlic butter first of all. I could have been actually really whizzy and made the butter. Often I make butter in these demos to start with. I'm not going to do it tonight. I might do it if we need to gap fill a little bit later on, so you can see how quickly it happens. You can make butter in this machine in about a minute, just from double cream. It's great fun to do with children, and it will also save yourself a tidy amount at the supermarket checkout as well, because it's cheaper to make than it is to buy. But tonight I'm just going to go for regular block butter. Right, we're going to make a garlic and herb butter. So I'm going to put in 4 garlic cloves. Now, this is just a guided recipe, so the instructions appear on the screen. It tells me exactly what to do. So there they go. 4 garlic cloves go in. Then ½ an ounce of fresh flat leaf parsley, optional, leaves only. So that's going to go in as well. Then it's going to chop that up for me. So it asked me to put the lid on. And then my dials are saying turn speed selector to speed 10. And it's just going to chop for 5 seconds. So let's have a look. So this is one of the real benefits of the Thermomix, is it's the speed at which it performs the functions, which means you can get a lot more done with the time you have. Or if you choose, you could just go and sit down and enjoy something completely different. So it's chopped up all that garlic, 5 seconds. Now it's asking me to, if I click on next, scrape down the sides. So it leaves nothing to chance. It's like having a chef in an earpiece, as one of my customers described it, telling you what to do. Okay, scrape down the sides. So my children can use this quite competently, and have been doing since about the age of 11. Now it wants me to put in 2½ ounces, and this is an American recipe actually, from our American platform of recipes. So the scales have automatically switched to ounces just for the purpose of this recipe. They will then switch back. Oh, Michaela, my Fitbit's beeping at me, because you've always said to me, I'd love to know how many steps you do in a demo. And actually, so I got my Fitbit on tonight to measure it.
Oh, brilliant.
But I'm actually in a slightly different setup now, so I might not do many steps at all. We'll have to see. So let's put that rest of the butter in. So I'm just using the inbuilt scales to weigh it in. There we are. Let's get that out of the way. And then if I click on next, oh, it wants me to add some salt. Put a little bit of salt in. I always use unsalted butter, so I definitely want that salt in there. Put the lid on, click on next, and now my screen is preset. The next step is for 30 seconds at speed 4. So let's just do that. All of our recipes are a function of time, temperature, and speed. So when you have a look at Thermomix recipes, they're often laid out in a slightly different format to what you would expect. We have 3 dials on the home screen. The first is the time, the second is the temperature, and third is for speed. And if you think about it logically, that's exactly the process that you use when you cook in a pan, but we just don't think about it in that way. So our recipes are laid out in this format. Any Thermomix recipes that you find on the internet, if you don't use the cookie dough recipes and you just prefer to read them off another website, will be laid out in that way. So it makes it very easy to do it manually. So that's my garlic butter done. And the advantage of using cold butter here is that it's going to be really easy for me to get out, which I discovered yesterday when I gave this recipe a go. Because of course there's nothing like being prepared, and I hadn't cooked it before, and I thought, oh, I can do that on a demo, and then thought, oh, I better actually just have a try of it so I understand the steps to be able to show you all. So that's my garlic and herb butter. Now I was kind of hoping I might have to wash it out actually before I do the blueberry cake. We'll see. We'll see what the dough does. I'm going to get straight on to making the dough because I want to show you how easily the Thermomix makes dough. It's one of the pure joys of having a Thermomix. And before I had one, I used to make all my dough by hand anyway, but I would make it in a KitchenAid. And it just took me a lot longer. We have a super fast knead function on the Thermomix. Sorry if I'm not looking at you. I'm just trying to scroll back through my recipe. There we go. Let's pick it back up again. We have a super fast knead function, which means that you can knead most bread doughs, unless it's an enriched dough, which just takes a little bit longer, like a brioche or the croissants, which are a slightly different process anyway. You can knead it in about 2 minutes. So that is just brilliant. Okay. So for some reason, I want to go right back, and it's just resumed my recipe. Okay, so I'm going to halve this recipe. Because I've already got some dough ready made, and I'm going to have dough coming out my ears. And even though I've got 4 children at home at the moment, they're not massive bread fans. So I'll probably end up turning this just a lot into some pizza bases or some rolls tomorrow. So it's asking me to put in 15 ounces of bread flour. So just bring you down here. Let's just show you the front of my screen for the time being. Can you see that? I don't know if it's... Oh.
Turn your screen off.
Oh, I know, I've just turned my screen off. There we go. It's because I've got my hand on the snooze button. Does that look the right way around to you? Or is it back to front? Can you see it?
Yeah,
anyway,
it's fine.
Right. So I'm just going to pop on tare, which is basically reset my scales to 0. Now I'm going to try, if you can see, if I just pour my flour in. I've just gone slightly over. That's because if you click onto the next step, it wants me to add in some whole wheat flour. So that's just wholemeal flour. That's the American recipe. So as you can see, I weighed in from the start 15 ounces of bread flour, I've halved it and then added a little bit more, 2.5 ounces of whole wheat flour. I'm going to click on next. Now it's asking me to put in 9 ounces of warm water. So I need to remember I've halved this. Let's pick up my water. Yes, it is warm. Hold on. So if I just hold you there, my scales have automatically reset to 0. So what am I going for? 4.5 ounces. Oh, this is tricky. Holding a camera, trying half a recipe at the same time. Okay, it's all possible with the Thermomix. Right, I've just overshot, that's fine. So click on next. Now, 1/2 ounce of sugar. So can you see how this is walking me through the recipe? Let's just grab my sugar. And I want a scant 1/2 ounce. There we go. I've gone a little bit over, it doesn't matter. And then some yeast. So I'm going to pop you back actually on the cradle now. So because you've got the idea of what's on my screen, of it just walking you through the recipe step by step. Let's put in just a teaspoon of yeast, like that. 1 ounce of olive oil. Two teaspoons of salt. So all I have to do is click next, and then it just brings me up the next instruction. So 2 teaspoons of salt. And then now all it wants me to do is just put the lid on, insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl lid, and my knead function has automatically come on. And a little bit later on, I will take you through the function so you can see all of the different, I think I was reading a magazine article earlier today, and it said we now have 24 different modes with a Thermomix. So one machine is going to carry out the functions of 24 different appliances, which is amazing if you are a little bit compromised on space. And actually, I take my Thermomix on holiday with me in a motorhome. And we do it for that exact reason, more because it makes obviously cooking easy, but because we are very space compromised, and I don't have to carry, you know, separate measuring scales, blenders, whisks, all the rest of it. I can do all my cooking with just this one device, as long as I've got power. There we are. So that is the dough off. So what I'm going to do now, this is, I'm just going to move that Thermomix out of the way slightly. This is the dough that it makes. It's been rested, so it's proved for a couple of hours. So the recipe asks me to, just find my dough scraper, cut it in half. What I'm going to do is just roughly cut it in half. And I'll show you what the dough looks like when it's finished kneading. But while it's kneading, I thought I'd just show you the next step so that we're ready. So I'm going to cut it in half and then use my that's a big rolling pin. I want to roll it out to a rough rectangle like this. Let's just show you what I'm doing. Let me come down a bit like that. So I'm going to get it started. It's going into a rectangle and then just roll it out very, very roughly. And it rolls really nicely. I've got a bit of a hole coming, but that's not going to matter. I'm just going to sort that bit out in a minute. And the recipe tells me I want it about 12 inches by 6 inches, I think it was. Right, I'm just going to fill that hole there. I like it when things go wrong because I can also then show you how to correct them. So I'm going to roll it out, keep rolling it out. I'm only going to do half of the recipe and then I'll pick up the other half a little bit later. And hopefully Helen has got one ready-made to show you because I set her the challenge this afternoon of making one. Let's just get that rolled. So roughly, I've got it measured here, so 12 inches by about 6 inches. That's a little bit more, but it won't matter. So then I'm going to just cut it. No, I'm going to spread my garlic butter on it. Here we are. Okay, let's get some garlic butter. And this is going to go across both halves of the bread. So I only want to use about half of what I've got here. So this is the same principle. If you're making something like a pizza scroll, so pizza scrolls are great for lunch boxes. You make the dough, then you spread the tomato sauce over it, or you can spread pesto over it, and then you can put your mozzarella, and you can make your or sweet corn or ham or whatever, or your pepperoni, chorizo, whatever fillings you want. You scatter them all over the top, and then you roll it up and cut sections and just leave them to prove. It's just a little bit of a different way of doing pizza. And actually it's great for lunch boxes or picnics, and children seem to really like them. So that's all nicely covered with my garlic butter. Then I'm going to just cut down the middle. And I'm very ashamed to admit that I had to ask Michaela for help on this one yesterday. And then I'm just going to cut little sections of, I need to do it into 12 pieces. So each one's going to go, hang on, let me just work this out like that.
It would be unfair of me not to tell everybody that I also had to ask my husband to translate the instructions for me.
Yeah, usually they're pretty good, aren't they? But yeah, we were both scratching our heads and I thought it was just me yesterday. But there we go. I want to get 12 sections out of this piece. So that's sort of there. Now, what you need to do is you're just going to roll it up on the long edge. I don't know if you can see that from where you are. Roll it up on the long edge like that. So you get like a little tube. Then what I'm going to do is just stretch it out slightly and knot it like that. Make a little knot. And then I'm going to pop it in a baking dish. Now this is one of our stoneware dishes, which I found out yesterday was really handy for this. So I'll just show you another one. Otherwise I'll be here all night doing these, and I can do it whilst I can do the extra bits whilst we're cooking something else. So just rolling up like that. In fact, I might get a child in here to do this.
So I was just saying, Lyndsay, on the chat, all these continue to have step-by-step instructions on the machine,
Yeah.
don't they? So
yes, absolutely. Yeah, so on the machine it says the next step after the dough has been made. So there's my beautiful dough, perfect dough every time. If I click on next, it then says cover with cling film and let the dough rise until doubled in size. It wants you to decant it into a bowl. I generally just leave my dough to rise in the Thermomix. And then it tells you to get on with the garlic butter. So let's just scroll through that because I've just done it in a slightly different way. It tells you to preheat the oven. Then actually the writing on the screen, and this will be the same on the cookie dough app that you have. It says divide dough in half, place each half onto a lightly floured surface, evenly stretch into a rectangle with the approximate size with your fingertips, and then spread with the garlic butter, cut dough into 6 pieces and roll the dough so the garlic butter is wrapped inside. So there we are. So let's just do that. Just one more. And then, so I've just done a little roll, and then I'm doing a knot, and then I'm just placing it, arranging it in here, and the effect is absolutely fabulous. So this will cover this entire bowl, and then you leave it to rise, and then you bake it, and it's as simple as that, and you've seen the whole thing done. So this, again, this is a great thing to do with children. It's a great thing to do for a party if you're having friends around. It's really impressive, and this is what the Thermomix is all about. It's making really sort of complex recipes that you might think, oh, I don't want to tackle that because it's quite difficult, really accessible and very easy, so that anybody, as long as they can read, can do them. Right, I'm going to get that out of the way. I might see if my daughter wants to have a go. Alexa, do you want to have a go at rolling these up for me and knotting them? Wash your hands. And then, sorry, you can't be on camera, darling, unless you want to come behind me. Yeah. So I just want you to roll them up and knot them and pop them in the in there. And don't tell me if you're finding it too difficult. So my 10-year-old daughter is now taking over again. So the Thermomix is great for getting kids cooking as well. Okay, so we're done with the garlic butter. Now I just want to move on to the main meal. Okay, can you just take that over, the rest of the dough over for me? There we go. So what I'm going to do, let me show you at this point my Thermomix screen, so we can have a little look. So this is what I was talking about with the home screen with the dial. So you've got time, temperature, and speed. And then this is my menu. So this is the interesting bit. So this is pulling all the data from our Cookie Do app, which is our online recipe platform. So the app you can access, and I will show you it in a minute once we're cooking, through a mobile device, a laptop, a tablet, or on a computer. You can have as many logins as you want, as many different devices registered under your one account. And then you can happily look through Cookie Do and find recipes that you want to cook, save them to various folders, create your own folders, create a weekly planner, and everything will sync, all the data will sync with your machine once it's connected to Wi-Fi. So if we just go for my, let's have a look. I want to show you my recipes to start with. So you can see here, I've got a couple of folders, created collections and saved collections. The created collections are the folders that I create myself. So these are for things like, I find recipes and it's a chicken recipe and I think, oh, that'd be good to save in my chicken folder. So I've created a chicken folder, and you can see, oh, my hands are greasy, so it's just shot back up. If I click on my chicken folder, you can see what I have saved in there under chicken. And I've actually saved some French. I know we've got some French guests on the call this evening, and I've also saved French recipes. So you're not just restricted to the UK. You can save recipes from all around the world. My daughter's having fun bashing the dough. It's a great stress reliever. So you can see, I've done that for all sorts of different themes, and you can make as many folders as you want. You've also got the collections that Thermomix put together. So these are all the recipe books that Thermomix put together. I've just got a little bit of background noise. If you wouldn't mind just muting yourselves, if you can, that would be wonderful. Okay, so these are all the collections that Thermomix put together. And you can say, for example, I know it's not Christmas anymore, but this is a lovely collection. I've saved it to my own cookie dough, and now it appears on my screen, and I click on that, and here are all the recipes in that particular book. And our collections range from books of about 10 recipes up to something like 100. So this is a long one. This is sort of 60 odd recipes, and there are some fantastic recipes on there. Okay, how are you getting on? You're getting on, Alexa. Right, so you can also bookmark recipes. So these are your favorites, which are all together saved in a collection together. Now I'm going to go on to my week. This is one of the things that sets the Thermomix apart, and this is why customers love it, because you can become much more organized and plan out your meals. You can say what you want to cook, when you want to cook it. You can schedule it a day, a week, a month, or even a year in advance. And then from here, you can create your shopping list of ingredients, which again, I will show you when I show you it on the laptop. And then you can order your ingredients from an online store as well. So they will then be delivered to your door, and all you've got to do is put them away and then get them out when the Thermomix tells you to use those ingredients. So this is what I've got scheduled for cook today. So next, we're going to go on to this chorizo meatballs and potato stew. So I'm just going to click onto that recipe. Now I'm going to walk you through the first few steps, because as you'll notice, it's quite time consuming and boring rolling meatballs out. And I didn't think you'd want to see me make 12 or so meatballs. So I've already got them sat in my Varoma dish at the top. So I'm just going to walk you through the process I used to get there. And then I'm going to pick the recipe up so you'll see the rest of it. So all I need to do now is press start cooking. I've selected my recipe. It's asking me to weigh in the pork mince, so that's gone in. Then a tablespoon of smoked paprika, 2 tablespoons of salt, tablespoon of cumin, teaspoon of cumin. Mind you, I'd probably put a tablespoon in because I love it. A teaspoon of onion powder, teaspoon of garlic powder, half teaspoon of cayenne. Then you put the lid on, and look, here are my dials. So it's preset to mix for 3 seconds. That's all it's going to take to mix up that mince meat mixture. 3 seconds at speed 5. So you turn the speed selector to speed 5. Then it says roll the mixtures into walnut-sized balls. So you make approximately 12, and then you put them in a simmering basket. I'm just switching this recipe around slightly. I've put it into my Varoma. Oh, I keep getting people message me. Right, let's switch that one off. Then clean and dry mixing bowl. Well, I haven't bothered actually cleaning it, just because I'm going to continue cooking the recipe. So I thought that's kind of a waste of my time. And now I'm going to pick it up where it says place 2 garlic cloves in. So let's put you back on the cradle. How are you getting on? Alexa, once you finish, they look good. Once you finish rolling them out, if you want to roll the other bit out, and then roll it out to about the same size as that mat, and then spread the butter over it. Oh, she's doing a great job. Okay, right, let's bring you back into shot. There's the rolling pin there. All right, okay, so let's get rid of that. Put that down here. Now it's asking me, as you saw, to put 2 garlic cloves in. So here's my 2 garlic cloves, and I have peeled them just to speed things up. Now you will be amazed at how quick it is to do this family meal. And again, it's a recipe that I have not seen on Cookie Dough, which is somewhat of a miracle, because I spent a lot of time researching recipes on Cookie Dough so that I can cook them and share them with my customers. I get terribly bored cooking the same things over and over and over again. So Cookie Dough is an absolute godsend, and I like to make life hard for myself, and I don't recycle. We have some family favorites, but I like to challenge myself, and I like to do new things. So this was actually a recipe that one of my customers shared a couple of days ago, and they'd done it, and I thought, in fact, I think it was you, Kathy, wasn't it? It wasn't one of my customers, it's actually one of Michaela's customers. And I thought it sounded really good. Ideal demo recipe, because it shows all the levels of the Thermomix. Again, a very unique feature of this machine. And I thought I'd give it a go. So the kids had it for tea last night and absolutely loved it. So we're going to pop in the garlic, click on next, And then it's asking me to put in 1 brown onion, approximately 150 grams cut into quarters. So that's going to go in. I've already peeled that and weighed it, so I know it's exactly right. Then just simply wants me to put that lid on, click on next, and here come my dials, 3 seconds, speed 5. So no heat for the time being because we are just chopping. Let's use that spatula because I'm going to be using it with meat. Okay, so it says done, please click next. Now, that's what's happened to all of that garlic and onion in, what was that, 3 seconds, I think, speed 5. It chops it up faster, way faster than you can do by hand, and also a lot faster than a standard food processor could handle. So it's asking me again to scrape down those sides. Now it wants me to add some olive oil. So let's put in my olive oil. And it's asking me for 20 grams. I usually reduce the oil content a little bit, just to be a bit healthier. And so that again shows you can just play around with the recipes. You do not have to follow them to the letter. It's not going to tell you off if you haven't quite got something precisely as they have asked you to. You can add more or less of something, or just leave it out if you don't like it. And a lot of my customers buy Thermomixes actually because they can't have they've got certain dietary requirements and need to cook from scratch and can't use certain ingredients. So this just gives them full control over their recipes and makes it really easy to cater for their dietary requirements. So the olive oil's gone in. I'm going to click on next. Now it's asking me to take away the measuring cup. And this is because it's going to saute. And for 5 minutes, now I'm going to show you this now because we haven't seen the heating function. So you can see my dials again. I'm preset for 5 minutes at 100 degrees, and I'm just going to turn that round to speed 1. Okay, so that it is now, and I don't know if you'll be able to see that in there. Can you see the blades are just turning at a very low speed, and they are, the Thermomix itself is going to heat up to precisely 100 degrees. And it's just going to gently soften those vegetables and bring out the sweetness in them. Okay, let's see if you can see me there. Right, now let me have a quick smell of my, I've still got, it's got a very garlicky smell. So I'm going to actually just switch my bowl over. Yeah. Do you want to ask Daddy? Yeah, it needs to be sort of more of a rectangle, and then you need to cut it into 12 pieces. Okay, so let me just we've done very well with that actually, but let me just stretch it out a little bit more for you. I should have just given you, let's move that out of the way. Right, let's just do that other bit. Let's get a little bit of flour down on here. Like that. You can come and say hello if you want. Right, there you go. So that's more of a rectangle now, isn't it? And you might find the flour useful. Okay. This is ideal for my daughter because she wants to be a YouTube star. So it's great training. It's great training for her. Right, there you go. So just, you can take it from there. Those knots are looking fantastic. Let me just show you, in fact. This is like proud mum moment. There we go. So she's managing to do these knots and doing the twists herself. So it just shows you that really even 10-year-olds can cook with the Thermomix quite competently. Right, I'm going to switch my bowl over because actually my plan didn't work, and I would end up with a garlic flavoured coffee and blueberry cake, which I don't want. So I'm going to put a clean bowl on here. Then I'm going to go back into my weekly planner, my week, and I am going to select, where is it? Blueberry coffee cake. Now, remember, this is one I haven't done before, so this is completely from scratch. So it's asking me if I'm sure I want to make it. Yes, I am. Preheat the oven. So that would be a good start. Let's put that oven on. Grease a cake tin, which I've done. Now, what it wants me to do is, I haven't chopped my pecan nuts to start with because this chops nuts really well. So I'm going to have a look at my recipe detail, which I can call up. And I just want to see how many pecan nuts. I need 1 ounce of chopped pecans. So if I just want to put my scales on.
Lyndsay,
yeah.
There are a few questions that have been coming up on chat. A few people we've been chatting and answering.
Yeah. Do get you
involved as well. People are wondering. So the question's been asked about your saved collections and how you do. You know, the fact that they're already on Cookie Dough, that you've just created that folder.
Yes.
And then the other question that's come up is the TM5 and the TM6 bowl the same size?
No, they're not interchangeable.
Right.
They've got the TM6 bowl's got a safety feature on it now, so you can't operate it without it clicking into the same clicking together. You could previously use the weighing scales, which got me into a big problem actually when we were camping in France a couple of years ago with my TM5, because I got up bleary-eyed one morning and decided to make crepes, as you do. And my husband had diligently washed up the bowl overnight, took it all apart, clicked the blades out, taken the base off, and I just picked up the silver jug, lobbed it onto the Thermomix. In my defence, I was quite heavily pregnant at this time. I'm very tired. I just thought, oh, I know, I just pour my milk in. So all of a sudden, I became aware. I was thinking, why are my scales going backwards? And I suddenly realised, as I saw the milk spilling out underneath, that I was effectively filling my TM5 Thermomix up with milk and not the bowl, because I hadn't put it all back together. You can't do that, you'll be pleased to know, with the 6, because the scales won't operate. So there's been a few safety features added, which means they're not interchangeable. And the TM6 bowl also goes up to a slightly higher temperature. The end of the story was a happy one, I have to say. I took it outside. I was devastated because this was my machine, my first machine that I bought as a customer. So I wasn't an advisor at this point. I bought it and obviously spent nearly £1,200 on it and thought, that's it. My money's gone down the drain. I'm never going to be able to operate it again. I thought, well, it's got milk inside it. So I just hosed it out with water. I spent about 20 minutes hosing it out with water from the campsite and left it to dry out. Came home back to England 2 weeks later, plugged it in, it was absolutely fine. And it's still working like a charm. So these machines are built to last. And actually it was quite a common problem with the TM5s, which is why they've made it better. They've improved it for the TM6. Brilliant. Right, Alexa, let me just explain to you. You want to cut that now into, if you cut it into half, no, spread it first of all, that's what I went with. Spread it with the garlic butter. And then, do you remember how we did it? Cut it into half and then cut it into 6 pieces on each side. Fabulous. Right, I'm going to get on with that. No, I'm not. I was just about to chop my nuts, wasn't I? Right, I'm going to put my turbo function on. Let me show you while I go onto this screen. These are all the functions of the Thermomix. Right, I'm going to just show you turbo for a minute. I'm just going to give it a couple of blasts. I think that'll probably do, actually. Yeah, that was, maybe I just did. So that was 2 1-second blasts, and all my nuts have been chopped up. I'll show you that in a second. Oh, I need to just press home to release it. There you go. So that was two 1-second blasts. That's my nuts all chopped up. Okay, so the functions. So these, if I swipe across at my Thermomix screen, these are all the functions. So you can put your scales on. You can obviously weigh with a Thermomix because you've seen that, but you can put your scales on at any point during the cooking process, as long as you are not over about speed 3. So you can just use it as a set of weighing scales. Here's my dough. I'm not going to go into all of them. Turbo, very useful for cleaning blades at the end. If you've made a cake, I'll show you that. Also for chopping things like nuts and coffee beans. Then you've got the cleaning function. Oh, the cleaning function, one of my favorite functions. So it will self-clean, and you can tell it whether it's cooked dough, whether you want it universal, whether it's done used fat or caramel, or whether it's got a slightly brown base. There is a function for it to clean itself. It's absolutely brilliant. And then after it's done that, it's more of a pre-clean. So you will still need to get a sponge in or a little brush. But, you know, it's an awful lot better than having to clean it from scratch yourself. And often I just throw them in the dishwasher at the end of the day once I've finished with them. So it's great for sort of sprucing itself up and rinsing itself off in between steps. And then you can use it as a blender. Yes, you can use it as an egg boiler. And this is really cool. This is one of the new modes that was released. So again, I often get a lot of questions about whether or not the Thermomix is going to be updated. If you've just bought a new TM6, is a TM7 going to come out? And the answer to that is highly unlikely, because we are just updating continually through software updates at the moment. So look at this egg boiler mode. You can dictate how you want your egg yolks, from soft through medium to hard boiled, and it will precisely select the cooking time for you, so you get perfect boiled eggs. I mean, okay, you can put eggs in a pan, but I mean, this is amazing, really, isn't it? And they will be perfect every time. You've got a kettle, you can warm food up, you can thicken, which is a brilliant for sauces, things like hollandaise, bayonnaise sauce. Absolutely amazing. Drop it all in, flip, thicken, and off it goes. And you've got a perfect hollandaise at the end, completely temperature controlled, completely emulsified, and you haven't had to do anything. Rice cooker, so you can cook rice with it, and then you can go into fermentation, so you can make yogurts, you can slow cook, and you can sous vide. Right. How does this look? That looks fantastic. Okay. I am just going to go back now to my meatballs dish, because I want this to cook in the next little while. So I'm just going to pick it up. I know I was going to make the cake, but I'm going to go back to this recipe because I want this to cook whilst I'm making the cake. So it's asking me, it's sauteed off all those onions and garlic, so you can see that was 5 minutes. It's just softened them. It's asking me to put in 500 grams or 400 grams of water. Hopefully, just put my scales back to 0. And I'm going to weigh in that water, so straight in. There it goes. Click on next. Now 140 grams of tomato paste. So I buy my paste like this in a jar, because we get through loads of it. So 140 grams seems like an awful lot, but it did really work yesterday. That's the tomato paste. So now we're making the base of the tomato sauce. Now, meat stock paste. I feel like I've talked loads doing this, so I'm trying to catch up a little bit of time. Stock paste, one of the absolute basic things you can make with your Thermomix, and it's a real cost saver as well. So this is just made from leftover vegetables that, you know, are slightly past their best, all cooked, pureed and cooked down in the Thermomix with a bit of salt. Now, this will last you, I mean, you can see I've got about 1 litre of this. This will last you 6 months. It means that you don't have to buy bouillon or stock cubes or any sort of stock. You can make your meat stock paste, you can make chicken stock paste, and you can make the vegetable one. And it really does enhance the flavour of anything that you cook, and you know exactly what's in it. So it's ideal if you're gluten-free because or yeast-free, because a lot of those stock cubes contain gluten or yeast. You know exactly what's in it, and it's cost you next to nothing. Right, so that's going in. Okay, now it wants me to put in a simmering basket with the meatballs in it. With my simmering basket, here it is. So I'm going to just use this opportunity now to talk you through the accessories of the Thermomix. Now, this is the simmering basket. I'm not putting the meatballs in, I'm putting the potatoes into mine. So potatoes go in. Now, often this simmering basket is used to cook rice, it's used to cook vegetables, and it sits inside the Thermomix. It comes with your Thermomix, and it starts to build up the multi-level cooking, which is what Thermomix is all about. So while you're cooking something in the bottom, you can be steaming something else, like usually potatoes, rice or other vegetables in the simmering basket. And again, I mean, I've only put a few in there, but it's only half full. That's about 300 grams. So you can get a good 600 grams of stuff in there. And then it doesn't finish there, because you can put the lid on and it will tell you to then put the Varoma dish into position. So I'm going to put my Varoma, again, this comes with the Thermomix. All of this is included. So the only accessory that isn't is the blade cover, which I'll come on to tell you about in a little while. So place the Varoma dish into position, and then it wants me to weigh in the potato into the Varoma. As you remember, I've switched it round. So I'm not going to do that. I've already got my meatballs in there. Put the lid on. And now this is preset to cook for 15 minutes at steaming temperature, which is also called varoma. That throws new customers slightly because we use the term varoma, and I know we've got some new customers on here. We use varoma to refer to the temperature and to the appliance, but generally, if you are using the varoma on top, you need the varoma temperature. And then all I've got to do just to start that cooking is to turn it to speed 2. And that's it. It's going to cook away. It's going to control that temperature for me. I don't need to check it. I don't need to do anything else with it. I can just walk away at that point. Okay, so let's clear that out of the way. And I really will start my cake. And then I'm going to let Helen take over and do the frozen fruit sorbet. So let's go back to my cake. And please, yeah, do ask if you've got any questions in the chat. I know somebody's asked about cookie dough. I will talk about cookie dough separately in a bit. So I will come on to that. Right, I've got my nuts in there. Now, just thinking if I perhaps need to decant them into a bowl. I just wanted to show you how to chop them at the start. So I'm just going to take them out because they aren't supposed to be in there. I don't know what the rest of the steps are doing. Let's pop them into a bowl. Okay, it wants 2.5 ounces of sugar. So this is, again, it's an American recipe, so it's in ounces. So my scales have automatically switched. I just need to work in ounces. So let's put in the 2.5 ounces of sugar. 2 ounces of brown sugar. You doing all right? Brown sugar's gone harsh. I don't know why. I'm going to put my hand in. Two ounces in, that's lovely. Now 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Okay, I've got some butter here. And I don't want to use my garlic butter knife, which I'm going to leave over there. 2 tablespoons, so what's that? That's about 30 grams. So that's about 1 ounce actually. Oh, it tests me when they do this. So I'm going to put my scales on and let's have a think. Is that about 1 ounce? Let's have a go with that. 1.5 ounces. Let's just grab it a little bit off of there. Oh yeah, that's 1 ounce. Okay. 1 ounce all-purpose flour. So this is making like a streusel top, basically, or I suppose a crumble top. Okay, so this is my all-purpose flour. I'm just going to put in 1 ounce. Yes, I have just grabbed it with my hands. There we go. A teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Ooh, I don't think I got the cinnamon out. Let's hope it's at the front of my rather impressive looking or untidy looking spice cupboard, if you can see it. No, I had it the other day. Coriander. Right at the back now. So here it is. Fabulous. I wish that you can't actually see into that. It's probably a good thing. Okay, so teaspoon of ground cinnamon. In that goes. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a little bit of salt. Where's my salt? Oh, I've actually been hugely organised and popped it back. Very unlike me. A pinch of ground ginger. A bit more than a pinch. A pinch of ground nutmeg. And then put the lid on. So all I'm doing is following these step-by-step instructions. So lid on. And then my dials have come up and it's 10 seconds at speed 4. So hopefully that should be just making like a crumble topping. That is my guess. Yes, Alexa. Okay. No, you can maybe ask Dad to get you another Just trying to think. Maybe let's do it in a tart. I tell you what, you could do it in. Do you want to just put the rest in there? If they'll fit in there. Okay, so here's my like a crumble topping. Scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl. Oh, it wants me to do it again. I need to scrape anything. Right, let's just do that again. For 10 seconds. We can just get you another round thing to put them in. Let me just show everybody. So this is what my daughter's been busy doing. They look really nice and they're going to look amazing cooked. So hopefully, Helen, have you got yours? Did you manage to do yours, Helen, this afternoon?
No, I didn't get around to doing it.
Don't worry.
No, but I had everything ready to go tonight, and then you were doing it, so it's fine. I'll do them tomorrow. I think my Tesco man's just here, so give me a few minutes to get my shopping.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, so I've just put the nuts in, and then it's going to mix those nuts into that sort of crumble topping for me. And then it wants me to transfer to a bowl and set aside. So there we go. That's going to go into a bowl. So this is going to top my blueberry coffee cake. Again, making crumbles in here, like an apple crumble or apple and pear crumble, or strawberry or raspberry, whatever it is, so easy. It literally takes 10 seconds to make your crumble topping. Okay, now I'm going to get on with making the cake. So it wants me to put in 6 ounces of yogurt. Now, I am going to try in here, and I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to give it a go, because I want to use it up, basically. It's rather out of date. I've got some quark in here that I'm going to put in instead. Hopefully, just do me the 6 ounces. If not, I can add in some extra. And Michaela's going to tell me off, because she'll be saying, why have you got yogurt, a bought yogurt pot there? Which is a good question, actually. Because I make all my yogurt in the Thermomix. In fact, this is what Thermomix yogurt looks like. I've got one in the cupboard, I can show you. So easy. And Michaela does, because Michaela's dairy free, so she does lactose free yogurt. You can make all different sorts of yogurt, but here you go. That's my beautiful set creamy vanilla yogurt that I make in the Thermomix. It takes literally minutes to do, and you leave it to ferment in this aroma unit overnight, and then 10 hours later you come down to beautiful homemade creamy yogurt, and it costs a fraction of the price of buying it. It is literally under half the price of buying yogurt ready made, and you also don't have all the plastic as well. I'm going completely off the subject. I want to come back and do my cake. So 2 ounces of vegetable oil. I couldn't find my vegetable oil, so I'm just going to use olive oil. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, so that's going to go in. I've used olive oil in cakes many a time. 6 ounces of sugar. I'm just going to weigh this straight in. I mean, this makes making cakes in the Thermomix is so easy. I often do either chocolate brownies. I did those in a demo on Friday, which is why I'm doing something slightly different now. Or I do a lemon drizzle cake, which is insanely quick. A lemon drizzle cake takes about 15 seconds to make in a Thermomix. Of course, you've got to weigh the ingredients in. But it just means if you are a parent and you've got kids, say if they want cake, if they're having friends round, or if you've got bake sales at school, once the kids eventually go back to school, you can just whip up a cake in a matter of seconds, actually, or even better, ask your children to do it for you. That's the sugar in. Vanilla extract. Oh, I don't think you're going to reach that. Let me see if I can. I don't think I got it out the cupboard earlier. I had it out the cupboard, but it's maybe gone back into the cupboard. And my cupboard is like a vortex, so I'm going to forget the vanilla extract. 2 large eggs. Let's get my eggs. Taking a little bit of a risk, popping them straight in. They look fine. Sometimes I crack them into a bowl. 7.5 ounces of all-purpose flour. Right, Alexa, can you get or ask Dad to help you with the cling film and just put cling film over the top and we'll leave them to rise. Okay. Just gone a little bit over. Out. Oh, there we are. That'll do. A teaspoon of baking powder. Teaspoon of baking powder. And half a teaspoon of baking soda. So in they go. Take on next, half a teaspoon of salt. Oh, I haven't put any butter in this cake, I've just realised. But I suppose I've got the oil and I've got the yogurt or quark as well. A pinch of ground nutmeg. So it's a good job my kids aren't in here either making it, well, one of them is, but the boys aren't making it or seeing me make it, because they would be a little bit offended by all these spices going in. But if I don't tell them they're in there, then they're going to be none the wiser. Right, put the lid on. And then this is going to mix for 15 seconds at speed 4. So let's just leave that. Move a little bit of this out of the way. I've got some space. Okay, now place a bowl onto mixing bowl lid. It wants me to weigh in some blueberries. I've already got them already weighed out. Okay, so that is my cake mixture. Now, here are my blueberries. All I'm going to do, here they are. So I'm going to just tip them in. And then I need a clean spatula. Use one of the Thermomix ones. And I'm just going to give them a stir with the spatula. Now this is the Thermomix spatula. It comes with the Thermomix. So yes, we even give you a spatula when you buy a Thermomix. And the reason for that is I've got a spare simmering basket to hand. You can see, and you'll see me using it actually when this other machine finishes. There is a notch on the spatula and a little hole in the simmering basket, and the two just fit together. So it means when it's hot, you can lift it out safely out of the Thermomix without burning your fingers. Oh, fabulous. Right, my daughter has finished with the garlic bread knots. So let me just show you these. Don't they look wonderful? All she's done, and again, the instructions were on the front of the screen, is she's knotted them, covered them in cling film, and we're just going to leave them to rise in a warm place for about 20 minutes. Okay. And there were just a few slightly left over. It's nice to have a little kitchen assistant. So she's just put the rest into another tray. So we're just going to leave them there to rise for 20 minutes. Once they've risen, then you put them into a hot oven, about 200 degrees, and you bake them for about half an hour. And that is it. And they are absolutely delicious. You get to pull them apart. If there are those of you on my group, I will post the pictures either later or tomorrow. So you'll see the pictures of the finished products as well. Just helps you sort of visualize it a bit better. Right, so I've stirred those around. And now let's have a look. Transfer half the batter into the prepared cake tin. Sprinkle with half the strudel. Add remaining batter and top with the remaining streusel. Okay, so it's going to have a sort of a layer halfway through it. So put half the batter in. Right, you can see, let's just undo you down a little bit. So here's half my streusel mixture going on. And then I'm going to top with the remaining half of the cake mixture. with my token nod to being healthy. In fact, actually, this is a pretty healthy cake. There isn't any butter in here, and I've made it with fat-free quark and vegetable oil and olive oil, so, and blueberries. We'll forget about all this sugar that's in there. Now, there's something I want to show you here. As you'll see, I've got quite a lot of batter just caught around the blade. This is where your turbo function comes in really handy. So I just want to come out of here, just press my home button, swipe across, put my turbo on, and I'm just going to spin the blades a couple of times. A couple of blasts of turbo. I actually prefer a slightly different type of spatula now to get it out. And then you need to, so customers that are on the call, you need to press your home button after you've used turbo, otherwise the lid, the locking arms won't release. Okay, and you can see what's happened, that it's spun it, all those blades are clean now, it's spun it right round to the sides. So all I need to do is come along with a big spatula, and very satisfyingly, I can pick up my mix, the rest of my mixture. There we are. So let's pop that on there. And this is where I like to get every last bit of mixture out. So my poor children have got nothing to lick. Right, there we are. And it's pretty clean now. That goes in. Okay. And then just smooth out the top. You can see that. I think I slightly misjudged the half of the batter for the bottom half. I haven't left much left for the top. Never mind. Okay. There's enough. There's just enough to cover. And then all we need to do is pop the rest of the streusel topping on the top. Go back into the recipe, and then bake for 50 to 55 minutes. So this is going to be a slightly long bake on here. So obviously it's not going to be ready by the end of the demo, but again, I will post the pictures on my Thermomix Whiz Facebook group. So if you're not part of that group, if you want to join it, you just need to see or find Thermomix Whiz customer group on Facebook. If we're not already connected, I won't be able to invite you, but you can request to join, and then you will be able to see all the finished products, and also you'll be able to engage with the group and have a look at what my customers are cooking as well. So that is going to go in the oven. Just pop that straight in. I'm going to turn my oven down slightly. It said 350. I think that's about Michaela, if you wouldn't mind just checking, is 350 about 160, or if Michaela's not there, if Glynis can do it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
just,
fabulous.
Just below 170.
Super. Right. Okay, so my I am going to let you have a go, Helen, I promise. Your moment of fame is coming. Are you all set up now? Has your Tesco delivery arrived? Yes, brilliant. Okay, yeah. So this has had its 15 minutes cook time. So it's just waiting for me now to come back to it and do the next stage. So it's asking me to carefully remove the varoma. Now look what I'm going to do. This is, if you have two lids, this is really helpful. If not, then just know that your lid, and again, great for customers to do these demos because you pick up all sorts of tips and techniques. You can use your lid as a tray to catch the drips. Would you mind doing handstands and counting somewhere else, please? Because everyone can hear it. Thank you. Right, so I'm going to take that off. And use this is
real life TV.
I know. Real life TV.
Sorry, I just double checked that temperature. It's 176 actually. Sorry.
Okay, fine. It's fine. I'm on a fan, so somewhere between 160 and 170 is going to be fine. Okay, so remove the varoma. Now it wants me to stir those meatballs to ensure even cooking. You can see all the steam coming off of there probably. So I'm just going to give them a quick stir around with my meat spatula. Okay, and move them around. Pop the lid back on. Now, what it wants me to do is add in, and this is where I perhaps need my spatula, which I did have here. Okay, just to unhook the lid for me. So my potatoes are steaming away in here, and then the tomatoey sauce is cooking in the base. It now wants me to add in some cannellini beans. So this is just a tin of drained beans. I'm going to put them over the top of the potatoes, and the reason for that is yesterday when I cooked it, I dumped them straight in the tomato sauce, which wasn't strictly following the recipe. On here, it asks me to add into the simmering basket on top of the meatballs the canned cannellini beans. Well, it's not going on top of the meatballs, it's going on top of the potato, but same difference. So they're going to go in. So this is just going to enable them to be heated through in this simmering basket without actually being mashed up by the blades. Now, what I found yesterday was when I put them in the tomato sauce, it thickened the sauce, which was brilliant, but my cannellini beans completely disintegrated. So, you know, you can do it either way. It doesn't really matter, but I am doing it that way this time. So then I click on next. It wants me to put the varoma back into position. Now, I'm going to put that back into position, but I'm just going to show you a little something extra as well, because underneath, this is my tray of the varoma. Under here, I've got a huge dish that's not being used. So what do you think I might want to do with this while I'm cooking my meatballs? I'm going to add some extra vegetables into there. So I could put some peas, or I could put some broccoli heads. I've actually got some kale because I've got a 5-minute cook time left. So I'm just going to shove some kale in. And this will just steam through. I've also got some spinach in here actually, but I'm just going to use my kale, maybe a few leaves of spinach. So this is how you can really maximize your cooking capacity by stacking it up and cooking in this multi-level way. So there's my kale and spinach, just pop that in there. I'm going to put the tray back on, put the lid on, and then click on next. And it's now picking up the rest of the recipe. It's going to cook for 5 minutes at varoma temperature. And I just need to turn that again to speed 2. So it's going to finish off the recipe for me. And really, that is your dinner done. So you will see in a minute when I will plate one up that you've got your tomato sauce. You're going to have your steamed potatoes with it, the heated through cannellini beans, some green vegetables, and the meatballs, and all in one meal, all cooked in the Thermomix in less than about 40 minutes. Okay, right. Helen, are you ready? Because Helen is going to take us through a frozen fruit sorbet. I'm hoping. Now, the frozen fruit sorbet is a brilliant, brilliant Thermomix recipe that if you've got kids, that sort of say, oh, what's for pudding, mum? Actually, you can say, if I say to them, have a piece of fruit, they're a bit like, oh, that's really boring. If I say, okay, we'll whip up a frozen fruit sorbet, I get a very different reaction. So you can make ice cream or sorbet in here in about 1.5 minutes using just frozen fruit and some sugar. Now, Helen, I'm hoping, have you got the recipe there where you make the icing sugar to start with? If not, we'll make some icing sugar and show everybody. And Helen is going to take over now and show you exactly how it's brilliant, exactly how to do it. So hopefully you can see her screen. I'm just going to pop spotlight her video if I can. If I just go to Helen, spotlight for everybody.
Oh,
there we are. You're on the big screen now.
My setup is not quite as good as yours, so you can see me and see the Thermomix, so hence I've just put you in front of the Thermomix so you can see what I'm doing. So the first thing on the fresh frozen fruit sorbet is asking me to do is basically to add some sugar, and one of the things that I love about this machine is that you only need to buy granulated sugar, because it will turn your granulated sugar into caster sugar or icing sugar in seconds, saving you quite a bit of money. It says that I'm going to go for half. There we go. So I just put the lid on. Next thing it does, insert the lid, And there we go. So 10 seconds. Right, and if I just take the lid off, I'll show you that it has turned in that 10 seconds. That granulated sugar is now icing sugar. Love it. So the next thing you're asking me to do is add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Well, I squeezed the lemon while Lyndsay was busy. So it's here ready to go in. 1 egg white. I also separated an egg. So in goes the egg white. And then lid on, spatula through the hole. Fit. And then here we go. So it's going to take about 1.5 minutes to blend all that together. So yeah, everything can be cooked inside the bowl and there's very little mess elsewhere. I don't know about anybody else, but whenever I deal with icing sugar, and I do like to cook, it ends up all over the kitchen and all over me sometimes as well. It's all contained.
Yeah, it's fantastic having that lid to keep it all clean. Are you stirring from the inside using the spatula, Helen? I don't know if you can show people that if you can you raise your camera up a little bit so you can see another use of the spatula. And again, these machines are multifunctional. They are German designed and engineered. They're actually, a lot of it is manufactured in France. And in fact, our bowls are manufactured by De Gren in France. But the thought and the design behind these is so fantastic. And it just shows you that these are supposed to be the smallest, smartest kitchen appliance. And to really be able to perform the function of lots and lots of different things in your kitchen, so you can just get rid of a lot of the rubbish. And again, the spatula is designed, has got multiple uses, but it can also stir from the inside when it's cooking as well. So some recipes will say put the spatula in and stir from the inside, but you can see Helen is stirring from the inside just to encourage that ice cream to form and just to mix from within. How are we doing on the countdown?
Oh, hang on a minute. I must have missed a step.
Oh.
I missed the bit where it told me to put the frozen fruit in, that's why.
Oh, yeah.
How did that happen?
Yes, that would help.
We're going to go back and try that again. Fingers crossed, it will all be all right. I've got strawberries and blueberries.
Yep, lovely. So you can choose any combination of frozen fruit. Glynis did one on our cookery class a couple of weeks ago, and we did frozen bananas, which were absolutely delicious. So again, it's a good way of using up old fruit left over in your fruit bowl. You can chop it all up, open freeze it, bag it up, and then use it to make something like this that the children will devour.
The one I did was a banana ice cream, which took seconds, but it did it with a salted caramel sauce, which took it was unbelievable. It made it in something like 7 seconds. I just couldn't believe it, and the children loved it.
Yeah, I've made the berry foam a few times, which is very similar to this. It just whips it afterwards. And I found the raspberry one. We did all raspberries to start with, and it was a bit too sweet. But as soon as I did the strawberries and the blueberries one, the kids absolutely loved it. I don't know if
I'm just going to stop my my Thermomix because I was running the pre-clean function actually, Helen, while you were doing that. But I don't know if your microphone is that loud because I can't really hear you. So I've just stopped my pre-clean function so that we can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you hear what I was saying about I used raspberries the first time round.
Yep.
It was a bit too sweet, so we swapped to using blueberries and strawberries the next time.
Okay.
But that was for the berry foam, not for the sorbet. But it's very similar, isn't it? But
absolutely.
I also, what you were saying about things being built to last, I met someone the other day who told me that her mum had one of the very first Thermomixes that came out, and she's had it 18 years and it's still going strong.
Yeah, amazing.
Right, now let's hope that's worked this time. And there we go.
So that is, yes, your frozen fruit
Yummy.
sorbet. Now you can turn that into a fruit ice cream by adding a little bit of double cream to it. If you wanted to keep it dairy free, you can add yogurt to it, or you can add a dairy free equivalent of cream as well. And as Helen was saying, if you want to whisk it up, you can put the whisk in. Again, comes with the Thermomix, and then you can set it to whip for 3.5 minutes. And it will turn it into a beautiful creamy mousse as well, which is absolutely dreamy. So it's up to you, Helen, if you want to pop it in and show people the result when you've put the...
Yeah. No, because
and then you can just pop it into... And then from there, you can, if you want to freeze it, I mean, try not to eat it all in one go, because it is absolutely delicious. You can also vary the sugar content if you want to. Yeah, if you don't want to eat it all in one go, just pop it into a tub and freeze it. And you'll be able to eat it the next day. Right, now I am going to, so my meatballs are finished, but I'm not going to show you them for the time being. Let me just pop them back on there. What I want to do is I'm just going to come off of Helen. You try and spot like this, and I want to go on to. Oh, let me see if I can go back onto me to spotlight.
I think the berry foam is a really quick and fabulous pudding if you're looking to like have a dinner party, or you're just trying to, you know, something healthy that you'll all like. But and yeah, so I love the berry foam. It doesn't keep as well as the sorbet does, so it depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, right. I am going to try and share my screen now. So let me just tell me if you can all find the Thermomix Whiz camera. Can you see that rather than me? Yes, lovely. Right, so this is what I wanted to show you. So hopefully we've got 19 people on here now, which is amazing. Right, so this is what Cookie Do looks like when you either have your app or you look at it on a website. So it's our recipe platform. Oh, it's going to want me to log in. Hang on, let me just log in. I thought I did all this. It's obviously logged me out. All right, now this is a test, isn't it? Because can I remember my password? Usually like to do this. So here we go. So this is all tailored to me. It recognizes it's me. Now I've logged in, and what it will do is it will select things for me based on my browsing history. So you can see here the top picks for me. So I've got so it's decided what it thinks I want to cook based on what I've cooked before, or what I've looked at on the recipe database. So if you scroll down, you've got your latest recipes. So these are the newest recipes or spotlighted recipes that come out. I'm dying to do this actually, because I'm doing Veganuary this month. So this is on my list, but I haven't got round to it yet, this jackfruit tacos. And the chicken shawarma, this was actually developed in a collection by Dean Edwards, who was one of the runners-up in MasterChef many years ago, and then he became a TV chef in Lorraine and on This Morning, and he works with Thermomix. He develops recipes for us. So he's done quite a lot of YouTube, really good YouTube cooking demonstrations actually with his daughter. So if we scroll down, you can have a look at what people are cooking. So the most cooked recipes on Cookie Do this week, we've got a recipe spotlight. It's a bit like scrolling through the Waitrose Food Illustrated, actually. You've got lovely seasonal articles, food trends, our latest cookery books, just to draw your attention to them. And then this week's favourites. Okay, and then we've got articles, so you can explore the articles. But what I want to do is come in and show you, again, up here, my recipes. So if I click on my recipes, it's similar to the what you saw when I was showing it to you on the screen of the Thermomix itself. So here are all my collections. These are all my what are they? My saved collections. So these are all the ones that I've gone and had a good look on Cookie Do and thought, right, I'm going to save that collection to my Cookie Do, and then it appears on here, and then it appears on your screen. So here's my saved ones, and here's my created ones. To find collections, if I go to explore, or actually I just want to go to the search function, I can either search recipes. So if I wanted to put in here, for example, chocolate, I'm sick of using chicken, I'm going to go for chocolate. I can press search and it will bring me up nearly 300 recipes, but you can see I've got a filter on here, United Kingdom. So if I take my United Kingdom filter off, it finds a lot more recipes. Now, some of these will be duplicated from the different markets, and you can see those. So one will be an American version, one will be a British version. But then you can see all the recipes across the world in whichever country we sell Thermomixes in. And you will be able to pick up any of these recipes and cook with them or save them to a collection. So say I like the sound of these chocolate coated coconut bars here on the right. Now they sound quite healthy actually. I am going to click on that and I can say easily add it to my collection. And then I should have in here, I'll be very disappointed if I don't, a collection called, oh, I'm not very good on a laptop, chocolate. I don't know if I can scroll down. Oh, no, Michaela will be cringing at this point in time because I'm absolutely hopeless. Let me just see if I can scroll down. Here we go. Right. Oh, I've only got 3. That's amazing. 3 recipes in my chocolate folder. So I'm just going to click on there and it's updating my collection. So I'll be immediately able to pick that up on the screen on my Thermomix. So that's if I want to search at a recipe level. If I can also search the collection. So look, if I click on collections, here are all, and I've still got chocolate on here, and I've taken my UK filter off. So there are loads of really interesting looking collections in here in all different languages. Okay, now I haven't seen this one before called chocolate. I don't know what that is, and that looks really interesting. What is it? It's in Spanish. So if I want to, I mean, I do speak a bit of Spanish, so that's fine. So if I want to save that. Yeah, you can put Google Translator on, absolutely. So I'm saving that to my collections. And if I go, night, darling, if I go back into my recipes and go to saved collections, there it appears. So it will now appear on the Thermomix screen. So I can have a look at my week. So here are my recipes that I've selected that I was going to cook today. And I was just having a play saving various different blueberry versions because I had some blueberries to use up. So I found a couple of other recipes that I thought would be nice. The blueberry and white chocolate one I've done before is gorgeous. And we've got a cookery class on Saturday. So I've got what we're cooking scheduled in the cookery class. Now, look, from here, I can make a shopping list. So if I want to add these recipes to my shopping list, I can click add to shopping list, okay? Then I can go to here's my shopping list. So I've got all my recipes added onto my shopping list. I can click in if I want to show the ingredients. So I can have a look down here. Now you can either organize it by your recipes or by category, whatever you find easiest. I like to look at it by recipe. So I think, oh, what do I need for that particular recipe? And if you've got something, now I know I've got celeriac because I bought some yesterday. I could just click on it and I've got the chestnut mushrooms and I've got mustard and I've obviously got salt. I can edit it and remove those ingredients, and I've got parsley, and then I can just leave on what I need to buy on my shopping list. Okay, so I've sorted out my shopping list. Now, if there are any other ingredients that you want to buy that are non-grocery items or whatever they happen to be, you can type in your additional items there. So, for example, kitchen roll or foil, etc., etc. And then you can click on order ingredients, and it will give you a choice of stores. And we've recently added Waitrose and Sainsbury's, which is part of a software update. So you can choose your store and you can actually see how much your shop will cost at those stores. So here we go. If I was going to order everything on my shopping list at Tesco's, it would cost me £130. Now, I might want to change store. Now, I don't know how to do it. Oh, here we go. Change store. It's down at the bottom. And then I think, oh, I'll have a look at Asda. And it's going to tell me how much it's going to cost me at Asda, £93.62. Well, I think let's have a look at Waitrose and see what it would cost me at Waitrose. So at Waitrose, all of those ingredients, and then you can swap out for cheaper ones. Of course, it's just giving you brand names. It would cost you £250. So quite a difference, really, to shopping at the likes of Asda or Tesco's. Okay, so that is an amazing function that we launched about last summertime, and it is so popular with customers because, of course, you can choose your recipes. A lot of people will use things like the Mindful Chef or Gusto or the meal boxes. They're very, very, very expensive for what they are. You get an awful lot of packaging with them. And actually, you can put what you would save against buying one of those boxes towards the price of a Thermomix. It will save you money. You will get access to about 60,000 recipes as opposed to dozens through these meal delivery boxes. And in a similar way, it gets delivered directly to your door. But the one difference is you don't have to stand and cook because you've got a sous chef to do it for you. Right, so I'm just going to come out of cookie dough. I don't think I need to show you any more there on cookie dough. So I'm just going to very quickly finish off with, let's show you what's happened to my garlic dough balls. Can you see they're starting to rise? Now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put these in the fridge now and then cook them tomorrow. So I'm not going to cook them tonight. I'm going to fridge them and cook them tomorrow so that they are fresh for lunchtime tomorrow. Here are my dough balls. Here's my kale just cooked in there. And then in here, I've got my potatoes. Now, I did promise you I was going to show you my spatula. Where have I put that? So, of course, this is hot. So I've got my potatoes and my cannellini beans, and then the tomato sauce in the bottom. Can you see that beautiful sauce? I'm just going to put the potatoes and the beans into that sauce. And then put that down. Okay, take my spatula off, give it a stir around like that, and then just pop it into a plate. I could do this the nice way, or I'm just going to pour it out of that, and then arrange meatballs on the top. Lovingly like this. Arrange some meatballs and then pop on a little bit of my green vegetables that should be cooked alongside it. Okay, so there we are. So I've got my meatballs, my potatoes. Oh, need to wipe that off. The cannellini beans and the kale, all cooked in one machine. It's absolutely delicious. It's such a shame, actually, that you guys can't taste this. Wonderful to be able to see the process online, and that's what we do. But of course, if we were doing this in the traditional way of Thermomix demos, we'd be doing what we do best, which is going to our customers' houses with their invited guests and cooking alongside them. You can cook yourself a meal and enjoy it with your friends, which is what the traditional Thermomix demo is all about. Obviously online you don't get to taste it, but you still get to see the process and how easy it was to do. So I think the last thing I just need to share with you is how you buy one of these machines, because I know we've got some people that are very interested this evening on here looking to buy. So what I would encourage you to do, you can buy it through directly on the website. I would say to people, if you're going to buy a machine, buy it through an advisor, because you will not get the support that we offer you if you buy directly on the website. You will get delivered to Thermomix and there will be no further support. And it's really the support and the community that makes your enjoyment of the Thermomix much better, and you will discover far more recipes and far more functionality. So if an advisor has invited you to join this call this evening, please go back to your advisor to talk about purchasing the machine. So the Thermomix costs £1,149, whether you buy on the through the eShop or whether you buy it through the advisor. But if you buy through an advisor, you get the added benefit of all the help and the support for the lifetime of your Thermomix ownership. So that is all thrown in for free of charge. We offer, if you don't want to pay in one go, we offer finance plans over 1, 2 and 3 years. So on a 1-year plan, it is about £96 a month. On a 2-year plan, about 56. On a 3-year plan, 36. So it makes it really affordable. So lots of people choose our finance provider, which is Icano. They're owned by IKEA, a big reputable store credit provider. For the finance, and lots of people do it on a 3-year program, and on a 3-year it works out at about £1.20 a day, and you can already see how the cost savings will really stack up. Let me just spotlight myself actually. Let me move me back to, I'm just seeing, I think I'm on the screen now. I think you can see me. It's just throwing me because I can see me in, I can see me in big and I can see me in small. But yeah, every single one of my customers will say that they save far more than the Thermomix costs to buy, because all of a sudden you're cooking from scratch with fresh ingredients, which costs a lot less. That menu, that ability to plan your weekly meals and then just shop the ingredients that you need is an absolute godsend when it comes to saving money. You will also start making things that you previously wouldn't have done because it would have been far too complicated or difficult. But when you've got a Thermomix, it becomes really easy. Things like stock pastes, butter, the yogurt that we talked about. I have a French friends actually, and when I was considering buying my first Thermomix a few years ago, my friend said to me, well, I actually justified it on the price of yogurt alone, because she'd worked out how much yogurt her girls were eating. And then thought, well, I can make it in the Thermomix, and made a case to her husband, and she offset the cost of her Thermomix in a year just on making yogurt. So imagine all the other stuff that you can make on top. I've made almond butter today, all the cakes, all the other stuff that previously you may not have bothered doing because it was just a little bit too complicated or too lengthy. And now you've got this amazing sous chef to do it all for you. So in January, we've still got a few days left in January. We have our January customer promotion. Some months we have a promotion, other months we don't. We don't know what we're going to get in advance. So I'm afraid I can't really give you any inside information as to what February is going to look like at this point in time. But for January, we've got an extended warranty, which is going to launch in February at a cost of £149. So we are giving customers the opportunity to extend their warranty for 5 years. You get 2 years when you buy a machine. We're giving you an additional 3 years. On the 1st of February, that extended warranty is going to be offered to customers for £149. In January, it is currently on offer for £49. On top of the price of your Thermomix. So you would be able to buy your Thermomix and an extended warranty for £1,198. And it has been a really popular offer because it's just giving you that peace of mind when you're buying a very high value premium piece of equipment. Yes, is there anything else I wanted to mention about that? I think that's about it. So yes, if you are thinking, oh, I'd love one of these machines, please go back to talk to the person that invited you this evening. Let me just have a quick look at the chat. Bye, Michaela. Thanks for keeping an eye on everything. Let me claim the host back on here. So if I can go back to my chat. Right, I'm going to perhaps stop the recording now. And then we can chat freely and I can answer any questions. So let's I want to just stop the recording. There we